It's a beautiful Saturday morning here. Good morning and welcome to Galaxy Television's special election coverage broadcast of the Osun West Senatorial District by-election 2017. I am Nifemi Oguntoye, and in a short while I'll be joined by my colleague going to the poll in a matter of minutes to decide who the next senator will be for that particular district. But let's start with some background information. Right now, you know, it's a by-election and it's informed by the very unfortunate demise of late Senator Isiaka Adeleke. His death came as a rude shock, and it also sparked quite a number of controversies, bearing in mind that before his death, he had shown interest in contesting the governorship election in 2018, and that inspired the state government to come up with the coroner's inquest to find out the real cause of his death. Now, this is the verdict. Senator Isiaka Adeleke died aged 62 Ede, Osun State. The coroner has ruled out poison as the cause of death with toxicology reports. Now, the cause of the death, according to the coroner, is aspiration, which was caused by a drug overdose, following the statement by the pathologist who goes by the name Dr. Taiwo Solaja. Now, the coroner ran drugs, steroids, analgesics, sedatives on the late senator, saying that his testimony was at variance with the toxicology reports independently carried out by the Nigerian police. Interesting, isn't it? Now, of course, it's a very sad development, talking about the loss of the late senator, but there's not much time to mourn as the political space abhor vacuum, and so someone will emerge today. The question is, who is it going to be who is going to fit in the shoes and kickstart where late Senator Adeleke left from? Now, let me show you very quickly what's going to happen in, just like our political pundits will say, there are contenders and there are pretenders. In a matter of time, we'll find out who indeed the pretenders or the contenders are. But let's take a look at some of them. This is Senator Mudashiru Oyetunji Osun, who is the flag bearer for the All Progressives Congress and is from Ejigbo local government area of Osun State. Now, interestingly, Senator Osun had earlier in April 2011 defeated the late Senator Isiaka Adeleke in the same election that was about, how many years ago? 5 or 6 years ago, in the senatorial election of that year, 2011. Of course, in 2015, he stepped down for Adeleke. Senator Osun will be the Aregbesola factor state governor, serving a second tenure. Well, quite popular in his first term, but the issue of economic challenges, not paying salaries, might also have some impact on the decision of voters later on today. Now, of course, Senator Osun won the primary election with 2,412 votes from 2,413 delegates, and all members of the House of Assembly from Osun West are all APC members, as well as House of Reps members from this particular district where election the flag bearer for the People's Democratic Party. From the name, you can tell that Adeleke is a younger brother of late Senator Isiaka Adeleke, who died earlier in April. Now, let's look at the advantages or otherwise for this particular candidate. Of course, the Ede factor. Now, Ede has two local governments. We have the Ede North and Ede South. So it's also one of those flashpoints that we'll be looking out for. There is Iwo, and there are other towns and places where the candidates will be going out later on today to cast their vote. But then, interestingly, Afalabi stepped down for him. Now, the same Otuba Adeleke had earlier been screened and given clearance by the All Progressives Congress Screening and Election Committee, while Senator Osun, who is the preferred candidate of Governor Aregbesola, was disqualified. Now, the basis for his disqualification was that he was, prior to this time, appointed by Governor Aregbesola as a commissioner. Now, this case ensured the committee actually disqualified him to run subsequently screen and clear less than 24 hours to the party's primary. And I believe that informed Adeleke's exit from the from the APC, and as we speak right now is the flag bearer for the People's Democratic Party. What do we know about this election thus far? Number one is that the Delta State Resident Electoral Commissioner by the name Barito Pagi has been deployed for this election. We're going to hear him speak in a short while about the preparedness for this forthcoming election. 11 police materials, electoral materials for the poll distributed to all areas, and where the exercise will take place on Saturday under what we assume should be a tight security arrangement. Now, police is here to tell us the number of personnel they're deploying, but we know that beyond the police, there's also a collaboration ongoing with a statement from the Nigerian police as regards the preparation for this election. The Commissioner of Police
country March 31st, 2018 deadline to pay up their taxes or face prosecution. It also wants them to voluntarily declare their assets and income.
Dealt with adequately in line with the law. Ibadan Ife Express, but we won't allow any vehicle to veer into any of the local government where the election will be taking place. But we are going to lock Iwo, Osogbo, and Mogan, Osogbo.
Road to take from the position of the police bus, talking about the major roads that will be open, and of course you won't be able to veer from the express into the local governments where elections will be taking place. Already as we speak now, there is a lockdown, no movement restriction in these areas from 6 a.m. I believe to 6 p.m. By about 2 to 3, 4 o'clock this evening, we should be knowing what direction Osun West is going as regards with the electoral materials. We also had the privilege to speak with party agents who were of the opinion that if things go the way they saw it, perhaps we're going to have a free and fair election. Let's go check this report out as we find out the position of INEC, promising no doubt that they are ready for a credible election in Osun West today.
The by-election in Osun West Senatorial District was into the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC are fielding candidates for the poll that will take place in 10 local government areas in the state. Already, all the electoral materials for the poll have been distributed to all the areas where the exercise will take place on Saturday under a tight security arrangement. Pagi says the commission has taken delivery of all the materials needed for the election, while assuring the contestants and their supporters of transparency before, during, and after the election.
Receive materials that have been sent from Abuja. From here, we are going to local government areas, where they will be distributed according to the number of.
A cross-section of agents of some of the participating political parties in the by-election commended the level of preparation by the commission, stressing that the distribution of election materials was transparent.
So far, election materials have been distributed firsthand, and are
all complete, and that is why we started the distribution of these ballot boxes.
they have really improved. And for what we said today, we hope that the starting and the finishing would be glorifying.
We have materials delivered with a packing list of what's in each package, and on the pack. The only thing that we didn't do is open the pack, and that, of course, is against electoral law.
They're of the view that if the commission continues with this arrangement, the by-election on Saturday will be free, fair, and credible, which is the expectation of all parties. The by-election is scheduled to commence by 8 a.m. in the morning.
Welcome back, and it's a special broadcast on the Osun West by-election as 10 local government councils go out today to decide who will represent them after the demise of Senator Isiaka Adeleke. I'm joined now live from Ede by-election. Kole, what's happening right now in Ede where you are?
Nifemi, good morning to you and to all our viewers in Lagos and in Nigeria, nationwide. I'm reporting live from Akoda in Ede South local government, one of the towns where we are to have been set for the election here. You can see the electoral officer, the ad hoc staff are here, as well as the eligible voters. You can see them here. Situation seems to have been set here. Everywhere is cool and calm here in Nakoda. You can see right here, the situation seems to have all is set for the by-election in Nakoda here.
Well, interesting. It appears as if the stakeholders are making a lot of true representation of the promises that they have made earlier. We saw from the background you showed us, Kunle, that indeed INEC is describe the security. How will you describe the security situation in Osun West as we speak now?
Earlier on, before we get to this point, we saw some security men manning strategic location. You will recall that yesterday when we in place today. So I can confirm that to you this morning that before we got to this point, we saw some policemen, and a few minutes ago we equally saw a detachment of the security arrangement seems to be in place for the election. And here, voters are here. They are eagerly waiting for the exercise to commence. And ad hoc servers, INEC can report to you also. You can see them behind me.
Between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. From your journey thus far in that part of the country, how would you describe that particular restriction? Would you say that people, that movement really has been restricted?
If I can hear you clearly, yeah, I can see people are moving mostly with before this time. People the voter that I'm seeing here, most of them are getting to this point. They are this particular polling unit with only bike, so the vehicular move to 6 p.m. when the election will be rounded off.
So we understand that this election is taking place in 10 local government areas in Osun West. Would you say that what it means, therefore, is that economic activities and social life is ongoing in other parts of Osun?
Like this Osogbo, the state capital, before where we move to this point, the social life is still on there. Vehicular movement is heavy in town. Only for the 10 local government areas where the election will take place, that is where we'll be having lockdown. But in other parts of the state where the election is not holding, social life and other activities still continue.
And activities should have stopped 24 hours before now. What's the compliance level in Osun?
Here at the Akoda and at the south here, all the agents of all the participating political parties, 11 in number, they are all here. You can see them here. You can see them by my side here. They are orderly. They are complying with the laid down procedures, with the laid down rules and regulations for the election. So here, for now, they are complying and they are following the laid down procedure for this election.
Interesting real election.
Can you come again? Can you come again?
Asking if you know the number of security personnel that have been deployed for the purpose of this exercise.
On Thursday, when we got to Shogo, we put the question to the commissioner. We got from him, particularly yesterday, was that enough security men have been deployed to nick and crannies of all the 10 local government areas where the election will be taking place. So for now, we don't have the figures of the security men deployed. And also I can confirm to you, during the show of force, the police, DSS, NDLEA, immigration, civil defense, so it's a combined team of all the security agencies in Osun State. Not only it's not only the police, it's not a police affair alone. It's a combined team of all the security agencies. They are working hand in hand to ensure that the election of
at the polling unit where you are, how many police officers can you see there?
Can you come again?
Asking that, of course, we do not have the arithmetic, we don't have the number of the security personnel deployed for this election, but how many policemen can you see at the polling unit where you are?
I have two police officers, one officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and one officers of the Nigerian Immigration. Here with me here, I have four. Beside, you can usually see them behind me here. I have four of them here, manning this particular polling unit.
Four isn't a bad figure if you ask me, but what's the security?
Hello? Hello?
In what the security situation was like in Osun, or rather Osun West, prior to today, the election day.
All right, prior to today, the security, we were in Ede yesterday, we were Ejigbo, Gbogon, and other part of the the security arrangement in those places visited yesterday was impressive, and most of the residents of the areas that we spoke with concerning the security arrangement as well, they commended the combined effort and the cooperation that exists. Come to that, prior to this day, the security arrangement in Osun State has been wonderful and has been commended.
The time schedule for this particular election, I understand that from what we can see from here, things seem to be taking shape. But what time do we expect?
Across the 10 local government areas in the state where the by-election will be taking place.
Kole, what's your itinerary like today? Which other places are you visiting after Ede? Okay.
We are moving to Ejigbo. One of, we are in Ede, Akoda Ede now, which is in Ede South. In other areas where the election will be taking place.
Much, Kole, for your time. We'll be back with you at 1 p.m. I believe, as we continue our conversation as regards the Osun West by-election. We wish you all the best as you cover the developments and updates as regards this election. Okay, so Kule is currently in Ede, and Ede is the hometown of the PDP candidate, Soma Ademola Adeleke, who is the younger brother of the late the hometown of the APC candidate, Senator Mudashiru Oyetunde Uzain of the APC. All right, so Osun West by-election 2017, our broadcast kickstart now. We'll be back at 1 p.m., God willing, where I'll be joined by other political analysts and consultants as we begin to look at what's happening in that particular state and that particular senatorial district where electorates from 10 local councils will be going out today to decide who the senator is going to be. We'll be back at 1 p.m. I am